I'm Marcy Barron, and this is Mondays with Marcy. I'm your homeward bound guide to everything 5D living. I can't wait to share with you tips and tools to guide your personal transformation so that you can live a life that thrills you. Hello, and welcome to this week's Mondays with Marcy. I am Marcy Barron, your host, and this week we are talking about Mercury Retrograde. It's nothing to fear. It gets all this hype, and there's a purpose for it, just like everything. It's for our growth, it's for our expansion, and it is for our liberation. So Mercury went retrograde this year in 2022 at this time that I am recording this podcast, September 9th, and it will last until October 2nd. And the truth is this planet, it goes retrograde about 3 to 4 times a year. And so this 3-week period, which includes a shadow period, which I'm going to explain what that is before and after, causes a lot of havoc. It causes a lot of concern, a lot of memes on the internet, and even a Bitmoji, if you do Bitmoji, is like Mercury retrograde, and it's like a scary face, like the person, your face is like, like a scary face. So the shadow period, the week before and the week after, is where you feel the effects, but it's not as intense. And I believe that all of the things with the planets, the moon, the sun, the stars, it has a big impact on the energy of Earth. It can't not. We are all created from stardust, and because of the law of quantum physics, we feel everything that's happening. You may or may not be aware of it. As a highly sensitive person, you may feel it more, and depending what your soul lesson is, Mercury retrograde may have more of an effect on you than other people. Personally, for me, I don't have a problem with Mercury retrograde. It's not part of my soul's lesson around communication and planning. I know a lot of other people it is. And yeah, there have been times where things have happened, but typically I don't feed into the fear. And if something does happen, I go, oh, I know why that's happening. So I want to give you a little context. Okay. So Mercury is our biggest magnet in the solar system. The planet is basically a big magnet, and it passes between Earth and the sun. And it's like, we're literally like doing a drive-by. Mercury is mostly made of iron. And because of this close pass to our planet, it really can have a big impact here. So how does this impact our planet? For one thing, electronic devices such as computers and phones act weird. Because our energy fields and our nervous systems are rooted in electricity, right? We can measure our aura in hertz. And we are magnetic beings, our minds can get wonky, right? So that electric pull, that magnetic pull on us can pull us out of sorts if we're not grounded. Some people tend to lose things, feel scattered, and perceive problems to be worse than they actually are. So again, the reason why Mercury is around this communication, in astrology, Mercury rules communication. It rules travel. It rules technology. And all three of these areas can go haywire for the 3 weeks. And Mercury retrograde, again, typically it is one of the few phenomenon that can affect everyone. So it's basically a uniform way that it happens, but again, it's nothing to fear. Once you pay attention to how events in your life can be impacted during this time or any other time, you can be empowered to harness this energy to your advantage. And I want to give a context and an explanation for this so that you can um, understand what's happening. So, again, with learning the lessons of your soul, and part of that for every one of us is that we can get quiet, we can understand the lesson of our soul. We can understand what we are doing and tuning into what's happening in the outer context of the universe. So we can do this to ultimately tune in what we need and knowing there's a framework. Okay, so with that, think of things during any retrograde with the prefix, re, renew, release, revisit, reconsider, redecorate, restart, reschedule. And the reason for these retrogrades with any planet, but I'm talking about Mercury, is for us to go back and visit the lessons around communication. So, communicate by speaking clearly in person or over the phone. Many people just email and text, and sometimes they can get misinterpreted easily. And if email and text is your primary way to communicate, it's very easy for it to get misconstrued. You're going to confirm all plans, travel, appointments, and meetings. So, again, because of this communication breakdown, if you will, you're going to be on top of it. You're going to confirm all of the things so that you don't have these problems. You're going to plan ahead when you're going somewhere. So leave early for travel as flights and other things can be delayed. I was just away this past weekend in Miami, and I was sitting at the gate for 2 hours. And the reason for that is because if you've ever been to the Miami airport, I rented a car. You have to rent the car, take the car to this other part. You have to take this like monorail, then walk all the way into the gate, go through security, all the things. Um, when I left New York, we literally, my son and I, we got to the gate as soon as it was boarding. And I was like, that is too close. So I left a lot of time, and you never know. You never know with the traffic. So just plan ahead. You always want to review documents and contracts thoroughly. So some people recommend not signing anything during this retrograde time as it will need to be revisited. And again, if this is something that is a lesson for you, really just be aware as you review the documents and contracts. I don't really, again, give much energy into it. It's not where things trip me up or the lesson of my soul. I do know like somebody launched their book in Mercury retrograde and it was very successful. So, again, these are just guidelines. Be patient with phones, computers, backup, all important information. I do remember once my computer had a problem during Mercury retrograde, and I was like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde. Okay. There have been times in the past where like Facebook and Instagram have gone out during Mercury retrograde, and you can just go, oh, there it is, right? Again, when you are reevaluating, as in the prefix, reevaluate relationships and situations in your life. So should this person be in your life? Should this, even like a job, do you need to redefine your current role in it, in the relationship or the job? You can reflect, and it can help you get in tune with your needs. And one thing that retrograde is so known for is the time when exes come back in and they hit you up on the text, and you're like, oh, Mercury retrograde, here you are again. Um, so, but you can also plan reunions with old friends. You can plan to run into people from your past if it feels aligned. If you feel like you want to reach out to an ex partner or an ex boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, really think about that. Where is that coming from? It means that there's some unhealed things that you might need to work through, and maybe you can sort that out within yourself as opposed to um, reaching out for someone to fill your needs, right? So you might need to renew commitments, like go back and see what needs to be finished as opposed to starting new ones. You want to restart those unfinished projects, those things where it's like, oh, okay, now I can return back to this and restart it. The most important thing about Mercury retrograde is to not fear it. Be optimistic. Just go with the flow, just like anything else. Okay. I want you to view it as a time to handle the unfinished business. Most people start a million things and never finish them. So think of Mercury retrograde as a time to tie up all of the loose ends to get a fresh start. If you plan ahead, if you ground your energy, you double check everything and are clear in your communication, you can harness this energy to make great gains. So I hope that this has helped you reframe and understand Mercury retrograde. And again, if things go wonky, you're just like, oh, okay, I understand why this is wonky. It's Mercury retrograde, and can kind of laugh. If go into this whole, oh, Mercury retrograde, and get into this whole mindset of panic, of fear, that's what's going to happen for you. So just be aware. All right. And I hope this helped you. If there's someone that you know that might need this information, please forward it to them. See you next time. Bye. That's it for this week's episode of Mondays with Marcy. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter at marcybaronclears.com. I also would love for you to follow me on your favorite podcasting app so that you don't miss a single episode. I'm Marcy Baron, and thanks for listening. I am so grateful you are here.